What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you learn how to reach more people online, build influence, attract ideal clients, build a successful real estate business, all the fun stuff. We've got Aaron Ryan back with us today. We're going to have a blast. The pre-show was ridiculous. It's essentially going to be a roast of me. So it's really just a show all about how terrible my sweater over a dress shirt combination is. We'll get to that in a second. And of course, my three wonderful children who are not, and how dare you body shame them, Greg? How dare you?
I'm not.
How dare you body shame my kids?
That was your Christmas card photo. I'm just showing you what you put on your Christmas card. Good God, man.
The junior grandmaster himself in the co-pilot seat where you so belong, far away from me. Which, thankfully, because I'm not feeling so hot. So I'm glad you're not here to catch anything. What's up today, by the way?
Oh, it's okay, Adam Levine. I mean, Matt Johnson. I mean, well, Aaron has another name for you, but you know,
little Maddie Johnson.
Little Maddie Johnson.
New name in the industry. For Matt, it's Little Maddie Johnson.
It's a hit, man. People are loving it. The kids are going crazy. I mean, it's trending on Twitter. It's incredible. But no, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Showing a lot of properties. It's really funny that, the minute I say I want to get out of real estate is when all these leads and business comes into my life. It's really weird how the whole universe kind of clusterfucks and kind of comes at you in different ways
to keep you.
Yeah, they are conspiring. Damn it. And I just want to get out of production and start selling my training courses and building my EXP downline and everything else. And now it's like, no, you must be selling multi-million-dollar homes. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it. But I got to tell you guys, really have to tell you, every time we have Aaron on the show, I laugh my ass off. This dude pops off at the funniest shit ever. If we could record the pre-show and post-show, I think that would even be better than the actual show. But
oh my god,
dude,
it's a little looser. And we make fun of Matt a lot. Little Matt Johnson.
It's mostly that. I feel like it's mostly that. Yes.
Like a roast. This show is going to be a roast of little Maddie Johnson today. I can feel it.
Dude, Matt guys came on and he came in hot. I was trying to give Aaron some ideas for Gus for his show, and I named off an individual, and Matt goes, "Hey, that's my client."
Yeah. He was being very edgy and very rude to us, wasn't he?
Very rude.
Yeah. I'm super rude. Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
He wasn't being his usual endearing, embracing self, and it made me feel slightly offended and then more aggressive.
Well, I didn't even get my verbal hugs. I got nothing.
Oh my god! I would like to point out, Aaron, you came in hot as well. After getting stood up 2 out of 3 of your last podcast episode recordings by reputable people in the industry who should know better, which we shall not name names, as tempting as it may be. I know you want to name names. I would love to, but we won't. But if you're a guest on Aaron's show, do not stand him up. That's all I'm saying, because you will get trash talk behind the scenes.
I may fly to your office, rip your sweater vest off of you, and beat you to death with it, if that is the case. Yeah,
exactly. Which I would imagine to be hard and long to beat somebody to death with a physical clothing garment. But I'm sure Aaron will figure it out.
Could that be done?
But we're going to talk about in between the roasting. We're going to try in between the constant physical mockery of my physical appearance and my emotional well-being. We're going to try to deliver some value, because we're going to talk about. Aaron's got a pretty deep background in working with celebrity clients, pro basketball players, pro athletes, as well as just high net worth individuals of all kinds, business world types, executives, entrepreneurs. And there's a couple of schools of thought that they are different, that they're not different. Like, to me, they are, and we can get into the reasons why. If you swim in that world, it doesn't really feel different. But if you're coming from like the background that I came from, I think there is a difference of dealing with high net worth people. So I will probably have a different perspective from you, Greg. Sure. But I want to get into that. I want to talk a little bit about what some of the differences are, what maybe some of the commonalities are that aren't a big deal, where they are the exact same, and how much of just a pain in the neck they are, just the same as anybody else is as a client. So I want to get into that. And then we'll just go into maybe some other stuff, profiting, making cold calls. There's a bunch of stuff that we can pick Aaron's brain on. But so let's start with this, Greg. Why are high net worth clients the same as everyone else?
They're not the same. They're not the same at all, but they're actually easier to work with because they've done this more than once. They understand the process, they understand the paperwork. A lot of our high net worth clients that we've worked with. I mean, my $5 million deal last year, dude, I listed this property wearing jeans and Vans and a t-shirt and a baseball hat because we talked about gas stations and cars. Okay. And we sent it over, got it listed. He was the easiest to work with. I mean, COVID hit when we were having it listed. He's basically got, fuck this bullshit. And he's like, give me your hand, brother. We're going to shake hands every time we meet. And I'm like, Hell yeah. And so we met. He didn't give a shit about a mask. He's cruising around his properties. He makes more money than God, and he just cruised around, and he was easy as hell to deal with. Right? He had his demands. You have to speak to them in certain ways. You have to show respect and hit your deadlines and everything else, but don't treat them like children. We had a guy that we listed a couple of years ago. We is a $1.8 million home. We sold it for 1.7, and the guy called it a rounding error. That's just a rounding error, and I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. We listed a $4.4 million property next door. The lady was the single largest private collector of French original art. Her house looked like the Louvre. It was like every square inch was covered in French art, or Dutch art, excuse me. And guess what? Sweet as pie. She had cookies out for us all the time, brought us bottles of water. So high-end net worth individuals, when you work with them, they're not as needy. And now some people are going to be fucktards, and that's totally cool. That's just the way it goes. But the majority of the time, guys, look, they take a dump once a day at least. They put their pants on one leg at a time. They have wants, dreams, worries, fears, goals like everybody else, but they understand the game. They've done it. You don't need to sit there and coddle them. And if you coddle them, then they'll get pissy. Aaron, what's your opinion on this?
Well, I mean, I think that especially with a lot of these higher net worth people, you're going to get great people and you're going to get assholes just like any other demographic, right? So, I mean, it's kind of like people are just people, and that's the way at least I approach it. I mean, if they're cool and they're down to earth, because a lot of them are, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll just get into business and we'll just start rolling. But if they're kind of a pain in the ass and they're kind of an asshole, you got to do the same thing that you're going to do with any other client who's that way. And that's it. You got to stand your ground, and you got to let them know what the boundaries are, and you got to let them know how it's going to be, because at the end of the day, you're still the expert at selling real estate. You're still the expert at this particular, facet of their investment portfolio. Right. And so they have to respect that just like anybody else would. So, when I go into these meetings, when I go into, their listing appointments, I might do it a little different than you, Greg. Like, I'm probably a little bit more formal, even more formal than our friend Maddie Johnson. When I go into anybody's house, I don't care if it's a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 house or a $6 million house, I'm in a suit. Right. And that's just the way that I do it. That's the way I conduct business. So I give everybody kind of that same treatment, and I do it with those guys too. So I kind of come in, expecting them to treat them like I do anybody else. And, that's just kind of my thoughts on it.
See, this is what I love about this conversation, Aaron, is the fact that like you and I have totally different approaches, but we're both very, very successful in our approaches because, like you said, you personally are more formal, right? That's how you roll, right? Me, dude, I take multi-million-dollar listings in jeans and flip-flops. I had a client I was showing a $3 million home to a couple of years ago, and I told him I was going to come in a little casual because it was like 110 degrees outside. I was like roasting. And so I put on like khaki shorts, and I had my Vans on with a button down or something, or like a I don't know, a collared shirt or something, like a polo shirt. And quote, when I told him I was going to come in casual, he's like, "Yeah, I don't care." I show up to the show this $3 million home, and he literally looks me up and down and quote goes, "The fuck, bro? We're the board shorts and flip flops. I thought you were coming casual." And I was just like, "Oh my God, this works." This works.
Right. Well, I'm in a climate too where, my average temperature is like 60 degrees. It's like, it depends on where you live too, right? I mean, I probably would still do it even in the 100-degree days. I still wear at least a suit. But I think a lot of that, as far as like the attire and how you show up and all that stuff, it has a little bit to do with your climate also. I mean, I don't know.
It's your climate, but it's also you. Like you said something, Aaron, that was very powerful a second ago. You lay out the next steps in your plan. Right. And so what I say is let me explain to you how this is going to work. Is that okay with you? Because you take a state of authority, you're running the situation in the conversation, and then you say, well, for you would say, I'm more formal, so I'll be dressed in a suit when I meet you. I'll say, look, I'm a very casual human being, and so I'm going to be dressed probably in jeans or shorts with probably a hoodie on. Is that okay with you? Because I'm very casual. Every time I say that, every person goes, oh yeah, dude, that's totally cool. I'm more casual too. But that's the Bay Area. We're a bunch of pot smoking, tree hugging, weirdos out here. But that's just the way we operate. And that's so cool how you can operate in a high-end luxury markets. Totally different takes.
Right. Oregon's not much different, as far as the weirdos and the tree huggers and the pot smokers and all that stuff. We got that's
I was going to say, it's
yeah.
interesting that your approach still works in the exact same environment, and maybe that's just what the 3-piece suit is what people expect. And so you're not really breaking their expectations, or
I'll tell you, I dress to my clientele too, right? So like, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of clients who are hipster, flannel wearing.
You don't have my people, Aaron?
Matt Johnson.
You claim I'm a hipster. I'm your people.
I like them. Shoot, I like anybody who wants to sell a house with me and pay me a commission. I mean, I like all of them, right? But it doesn't mean that they're going to like me and my style and what I do. So, my clientele, my demographic might be a little bit different. Typically I'm a little older, clientele, a little bit more established, and the older folks I think sometimes appreciate
they do
the formalness.
And Aaron, you just hit it on the head. Like this, and this is why I dress the way I dress, because I dress like my clients. I picked up a 1.8 million, another $2 million listing, and guess what? The dude and I went to lunch. We ate burgers, drank a beer, and then he's driving a Ford Raptor. I'm driving my Jeep SRT8. We sat there, we talked shop, and we did a handshake. I sent the paperwork over, and we got the properties listed. And it's because I dressed like I just dress like my clients, right? And I think that's exactly what you're doing,
right?
And by the way, Veronica Jones says that Matt tried to suit up, but his kids spilled spaghetti and ice cream on him. They hungry.
They hungry. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Veronica, for that.
But go back to that though too. If somebody told me that I could have their listing if I wore my underwear and a pair of black socks to the meeting, I would do it.
Yeah.
I would do it. I don't care. Whatever. I don't do work. I mean, whatever. Right?
Are they boxers or tighty whities?
Man, tighty whities. I don't care. I mean, dude, I will wear a man thong if that is guarantees me a listing. I don't care. Whatever it takes, man. Matt, I'm gonna need to borrow yours.
Oh, great.
If that ever comes up, so just let me know. We'll talk about that after. It's cool.
All right. I have a couple of things. So number one, everybody should go listen to Aaron's podcast where he gets to really let loose and be himself, quote unquote. Go check out Expand, Dominate, and Profit. We produce the show. It's really awesome. He has some of the top people in the industry when they show up. Mind you, when they show up, they'll actually have good conversations. So guys like Jay Kinder and Cliff Freeman and a whole bunch of the top team leaders and people like that are on the show. So go grab that. It's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And then there was a really good, was it Nick Sakis here had a good comment on like the difference between high net worth clients that I wanted to run by you, Aaron. He says, is it difficult to pass off the team concept? Right, that they're going to deal with different people at different stages. Like, do high net worth people want to deal with you the entire time and have a little bit more leverage to demand that?
Right. So I have an interesting story about that. Right. So right now I do business in 9 different states. Where I actually own the offices, the agents, work for our brokerage, the whole thing. Right. So prior to us being the Brokerage House right here, right, we were the Rian Group. Well, the challenge that I had when it was more about me was they wanted me physically to be there if they had a higher end property. So there were times where I was chartering helicopters to get to appointments because it'd be like, and it happened like in central Washington, like in the middle of nowhere. And I would come in for an appointment. And it would just be to shake their hand, reassure them that I'd be working on it with our agent and that sort of a thing. Right. Well, that got to be ridiculous, right? Like I'm not jumping on a flight to get down to Florida, to talk to somebody down there. So, I try to make it work for the client. I mean, honestly, if they're in the local market, especially a lot of my basketball guys or soccer players or whatever, I'm going to work with them, right? I don't try to pass them off. They have a good network of friends or people, who are in their industry. I mean, most of the times I'm dealing with their business manager or their attorney, right? And so they're representing multiple clients. So I want to handle those myself because I know if I do a good job for them, they're going to pass me on to, their other clients. So I want to make sure that I'm still handling those myself. But like we had an appointment for a $14 million house in Windermere, Florida. Damn. Right. which I think Tiger might live out there, and you know, Shaquille I think has a place out there. Well, nowadays with technology, I'll let our agent do it. They'll do the walkthrough, you know, they'll build rapport with them, they'll get to the point, and then if they need me, they can always Zoom me in. So I'll just jump on Zoom. We'll do something on their laptop. We'll talk. I'll walk them through some info. I'll reassure them that, hey, you know, even though I'm in Oregon, I'm still available to you. I'll give them my cell phone number, and you know, I'll just help them kind of get that buttoned up a little bit. So, you know, my approach is a little bit more, while I stay pretty hands off with the listings I'm not actively working on. Some of the bigger ones, like, you know, we just did one down in Dallas, you know, for a big, you know, $2 million place down there. But the guy owns another 160 acres of land. Damn. And I want to get in, you know, I want to make sure that he's taken care of. I just conference called into that meeting, and, you know, just reassured him that I'd be there.
Yeah. Which makes sense to me.
You know, one of the funny things is, Aaron, what I think what you're saying to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're laying out the game plan and the battle plan for these high net worth individuals, reassuring them that you're going to be there, right? But then you're also affirming your agents that are boots on ground in the marketplace there, and saying, this is my gal, this is my guy, you know, in these different marketplaces, this is my go-to human for selling your property. But if you have a question, here's my cell phone. Right. You know, I learned that about 10 years ago. I did it wrong. I was at an appointment, and this is where, when it comes to high net worth, there's a high net worth property, and I fucking crushed that listing appointment. Like, I decimated. I walked out of there like walking on water. I'm like, hell yeah. Now here's the thing. I lost the listing, and when I called them up, and when they said they're going with someone else, I was really bummed, because I mean, we were jiving, we were laughing, like we were rocking. And I said, well, may I ask a question? Why are you not working with me in my team? Because I pitched the team, like, the team does this, the team does that. And they're like, oh, well, we feel that you're just going to pass us off to one of your underlings, and you're never going to be there, you know, to be supportive. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't communicate that correctly. No, I'm one phone call away. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be running lead on this. My team members are going to do certain tasks to help you be more effective. And you heard this. Oh. And so I learned a valuable lesson. I think that's what you're executing at such a high level on. You're allowing the people in your team to be effective and do their jobs, but you're also standing shoulder to shoulder with them. And that's where I failed in that instance. So when you guys are going to work with high net worth and individuals and luxury listings, everything else, if you have built a team like Aaron's doing and has done, do exactly his model. I mean, it's a perfect model for working with high net individuals.
Right.
So when you talk about talk a little bit about like the business manager and investment man, like when you're dealing with like a celebrity person that has a team around them. So you've got their personality, they're kind of in and out of the process. Maybe they have a spouse and they've got their own set of requirements. But then you have this other person in there that most agents never really have to worry about, like a business manager or an investment manager. What's that like? What's that dynamic like working with that person?
I mean, you know, business managers, accountants, attorneys, you know, they're just, they pretty much for the most part understand their lane, right? Like an attorney understands, you know what, I'm good at practicing law. I'm going to look over the paperwork, you know, tell me what the deal is. So, you know, they respect the fact that we're a professional and that, you know, we know our lane, they know theirs, and we're just going to work together. I think if you come at them and you just let them know, look, you know, I'm an expert at this, you're an expert at that, but we're going to work together to make sure this happens for this guy. You know, they respect that a lot, you know, so that's, it's if you come in there and you try to act like you know more than you do. Like I've had business managers and attorneys actually call me, and they'll say, you know, I had Joe Schmuckatelli at Keller Williams come in here, and, you know, he told me, you know, he's telling me all this stuff, and I know that he's lying. I know that it's not true. I've been around the block with a bunch of my clients. You know, I asked him to show me the $3-4 million houses he sold, and he couldn't do it. You know, they knew he was bullshitting, right? So I just come in there and just say, look, I'm not going to bullshit you around. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to create a bunch of billable hours for your client that, you know, that are unnecessary. You know, I'm going to accomplish what you asked me to do. We'll work together. You know, how do you want the process set up? Like, how do you guys operate? What's going to make it the easiest for you to be able to get this, you know, help us get this done? And so that's honestly, you know, how I approach those guys.
Do you remember how old you were when you did your first like kind of high-end luxury on a property
man,
deal?
I was probably 26.
26.
No, 20. Yeah, probably 20, mid 20s. Let's just call it.
Yeah. So what was the approach there? Do you remember like what you said, considering it's like it was your first big deal? Were you just honest in the sense of like, hey, this is like, I tend to work in this range, but this is the first one I've done in this range. Like, did you do anything special to kind of help close that deal?
Well, I just told him, you know what, while I might not be the oldest guy on the block, while I might not be, and remember, we were in like a recession back then, like it wasn't that great of a market, right?
Okay.
So like I told him, I was like, while I might not be the most experienced guy that you're going to get in here, I'm going to work my ass off. And I guarantee you that if you call me at 2:00 in the morning on my cell phone, I'm going to answer it.
Right.
Right. And I'd sleep with my cell phone plugged in right next to my head with the ringer on every night. And, you know, that was how I won it. Was I just let them know that I'm going to outwork everybody who you've met with. I guarantee it. And if you don't like what I'm doing, then fire me. I don't, you know, I mean, I'll be sad about it, but I'll respect it. And so, you know, I did that, and I sold the listing, and it worked out just fine.
Nice. Love it.
You know, there, when it comes to luxury listings, it is showing it is showing hustle, like Aaron, what you're talking about right now. I had a gal about 5 or 6 years ago. She was a new agent, young gal, and she had been prospecting this $3 to $5 million, you know, big property here in town. And dude, she hustled so hard. She showed up on Christmas morning to this dude's house and was like, you know, this is so-and-so, yada, yada, I'm following up with you. And he's like, if you're going to show up at my house on Christmas morning, you're the agent I want to hire. She got it. She listed it and got additional deals from it. So it's 100% that way. But Aaron, you have to, I mean, you have to agree with me on this. We don't have to do shit except for die and pay taxes. But
we definitely don't have to agree with Greg on anything. You know, just like to put that disclaimer out there, firmly stamped upon this episode, is that is not a requirement.
You're being difficult again, Maddie.
Yes,
being difficult again.
God.
Well, I can't tamp it down for too long. I've been good for like 29 minutes.
The sweater vest is constricting you again. The blood flow needs to start flowing again.
Right.
But I mean, when it comes to working with luxury listings, don't ever shy away from it. Don't ever think that people won't work with you. People respect when they're at that net worth. They respect hustle. They respect being aggressive. They respect out of the box thinking. They expect you to do different things. And yes, sometimes you will be their bitch, and you will have to do things you don't want to do. But other times they're going to just let you fly. And Aaron, quick question for you, out of pure curiosity. When it comes to working, like Matt asked you when you first got it, you know, when did you realize that, like, holy shit, like, this isn't hard. Like, these people are easy to work with. Like, when did that kick in? Was it like that during the first deal, the second deal, 10 months later? Walk me through that real quick.
After I discovered that the process was, I mean, it wasn't much different than selling an entry-level house, but I was getting paid, 10 times as much.
Yeah.
That was, light bulb moment, right? It was like, oh shit, I can do this deal, which is the same amount as doing 5 deals. This guy, is, there's a couple little extra things to it, right? Like you might have a couple extra people in the middle of the transaction, or you might have a few more repairs because the house is going to be bigger and but for the most part, it's all the same stuff. You're just doing it at a larger price point. So that's when I discovered that it's not really a lot different. It's not really that much more difficult. It's just managing their expectations and managing the relationship.
Yeah, managing the relationship, I think, is probably the biggest thing right there, because everybody, what I found is that everybody needs to be seen, heard, and understood. Right. And if you can execute that at a high level and let them be seen, let them be heard, and let them be understood, $100,000 condo, $100 million property, don't matter, as long as you got your ducks in a row and you can just sit there in confidence. And I mean, I was scared to shit when I took my first $3 million listing. Right. I mean, I was shaking like a leaf when I first got it, when I pulled into the driveway, and I'm like, whoa, like, I got this from a cold call. And then we got to talk about cold calling. And I walked in and I was scared to death. And I said, hold on, stop the bullshit. Greg, this is your listing. You already got this. End of story. All we need to do is finalize the paperwork, figure out what their wants and needs are, what their timeline is going to be. This is your listing. Walked in there, got it closed, shook hands in the backyard at the table next to the pool, listed the property, sold it for $3 million.
Perfect. That's the way it should be.
dude, you guys are, every single one of you listening to this or watching this, you're uniquely incredible human beings. You're all more powerful than you ever can possibly imagine. No, you don't let anybody talk down to you. Don't let anybody manipulate you. Don't let anybody intimidate you. You can do anything you set your mind to. I mean, look at Matt. I mean, Aaron and I are going to convince him to stop wearing sweater vests. I mean, because we believe in him, don't we, Aaron?
Stop drinking cortados.
Oh, yes. Cortados. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The cortados.
Yes.
For fuck's sake. Mocking my non-existent coffee drinking habits. Oh, my God. Okay. You guys want to talk about cold calling a little bit?
Sure.
Let's do it.
All right.
Do you cold call, Greg?
Dude, I've done over 500,000 cold calls in my career. I used to do between 500 to 750 phone calls per day.
Right.
Yeah, I did 1,131 phone calls. That was my highest calls in one day ever. I went home and watched paint dry because my brain had turned to mush. But yeah, it's effective.
So here's my question for you, Aaron. So with all the stuff that's potentially coming down the pipe and just the cultural and creeping kind of governmental way that cold calls are being looked at, and just the do not call, it's just the overall cultural kind of turning against calling. Why are you continuing to expand across the country, knowing pretty securely that you're going to be able to fill your agents with leads based on cold calls instead of based on, let's say, internet leads?
I mean, we do internet leads too.
Yeah.
We do that, but we're a big cold calling, business. And at the end of the day, right, it's are the regulations becoming a little bit more strict? Sure, they got a do not call list, but I mean, it's such a good source of business. It's such an easy way to get listings. It's such an effective way to communicate, right? I mean, it's been around for how many years, right? Cold calling's been around for how many years? It's not going to end. They're not going to say you can't call people. We may have to go about it a little bit differently. We may have to adjust the way that we've done business, just like we had to adjust to the do not call list, but it's never going to go away. I can confidently tell you it's never going to go away.
Well,
yeah, I don't know. I'm curious because I don't have that same confidence that you do, but I do think that it may shift to the point where, like Greg, you're working with Jake at Clever Leads, and the point is to put something in front of them that gets them to respond, and then from there you can do all the things you would normally do. I think that's the direction the world is going, to where they may in fact completely shut down, like our friend Aaron Wittenstein in New York City, or out in Westchester, north of New York City, still can't make cold calls.
None. Yeah.
Right. Zero. Cannot make cold calls in the state of New York or something because of the regulations that came with the emergency powers that went into effect with COVID. So I can see areas like that where you can't make true cold calls, but to anyone who has ever responded to an internet lead of yours, they're in your database, they've given you permission basically to use their contact info. And I could see us going in that direction where you have to have this step in between of generating an internet lead first, which you can then call.
That's his situation is due to a pandemic, right? They're trying to limit non-essential business activity. Shit, they did that in Washington, where you couldn't engage in business if you were going out to solicit new business, right? And dude, it's due to a pandemic, right? So
but it's to me, it's a symptom. To me, all the stuff that the government did during the pandemic is a symptom of some of the things they would like to do and can't get away with the rest of the time. It's not just that they're altruistically trying to go, we really like people to just focus on staying healthy and not doing business. Right. It's what I'm saying? There's something else there going on. So I'm just saying, I think that's where it's a sign of where the culture is going. The culture is turning against that. And they might clamp down some law at some point that makes it really difficult.
So let's look at society as a whole. By the way, Tony, I fucking love you, dude. He just posted a funny ass thing. He thinks I'm Batman. It's hilarious. The meme he just posted. I have two things. Aaron, I want to address kind of the cold calling thing. Then I want to get back to a question that Veronica Jones asked about billing for different services. But I'm with you. I don't see cold calling going away. I just don't, because we're human beings. We want to interact. I found that during the pandemic, when I do the cold calls, people are much more receptive to having a conversation, because I was talking with Aaron Wittenstein today. He's losing his fucking mind. His wife is laid up because she had a slipped disc. He has 3 kids running around. He's trying to run a business and he's losing his marbles. And so he and I got on the call. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad I agreed to have an adult conversation right now." I think a lot of people are in that mindset. So here's my question to you. So basically, everything in life is going to short form, right? We're doing YouTube shorts, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, 15 to 60-second TikToks, stuff like that. Now, phone calls are like a long form video, right? Because it's dragged out. You go, hi, this is who I am, where I'm from, this is who I'm calling, blah, 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 yakety smack, back and forth, back and forth. Right. Now, what I'm finding with Jake over at Clever Lead, spelled with a K, is that we're incredibly effective on two different fronts. We get between a 40 and a 70% open rate on everything that we push out. One is, and by the way, you and I off air, I'll talk to you about this, and I'll do an introduction if you're interested. Right. Hit text messages with a customized video landing page where they learn about it, where as soon as they land on that, then I own them, then I can retarget them. And because it's a text message, that's short form content, right?
Right.
The other thing that we're seeing really, really effective on is that we're doing geofencing. So since if Aaron can't call people in Westchester, New York, you drop it. You guys, a geofence is an electronic invisible fence. You drop around any geographic location, and for about $2 a month, you can push anywhere from 5 to 6 impressions on their smart devices.
Servicing ads to them.
It's like it's incredibly
servicing is something different, but serving up ads.
You would know about that, Matt.
I have a funny story about geo-targeting. I had a competitor who really pissed me off one day.
Oh, I know exactly where you're going with this.
Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Just go for it. I just tell the story. Man. Tell the story.
I spent probably about $7,000. He's a farmer. He farmed a lot here, and it was right next to his office. I drew a geo fence in his farm, as much of his farm as I knew where he was at. And I served ads there for 2 years, consistently every day. And oh man, I never had so many lists. It works. I mean, it works all the time. And I never had so many listings in that damn neighborhood. I didn't even like going over there. Like it was a place I didn't even want a freaking listing. Well, don't get me wrong. I want listings in every market, right? Yes. But I personally went on a lot of those appointments because I wanted to make sure that we got them. Yeah. And oh man, that geofencing, I'm a fan of it. So if you're out there, you're thinking about it, geofence. If your competitor makes you mad,
it's the ultimate revenge tool. That's right,
dude. Well, then it's also running YouTube ads in front of all your competitors' YouTube videos. Hey, before you watch, AB's, Bob from here at Remax's next video, let me introduce myself. My name is Greg McDaniel with EXP. I want to just let you know that we do a flat listing rate of only $5,000. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, feel free and give me a call.
That's right.
Fuck you, Bob.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome. Okay. There was a good question. I know the one you mentioned, Greg, from Veronica, where she's asking, Aaron, you alluded to like, we don't do like, billable hours, and I'm not going to rack up billable hours for your client and stuff like that. So she had a follow-up question on that. Did you ever do anything where you had extra, like, where you billed for real estate services by the hour? And I don't think that's what you were trying to say. You were talking to a lawyer. Yeah. You're not going to create, through communication with them.
You can start, right? We get paid on commission, right? We get paid a commission when their house sells. But if you create a bunch of work for the attorney, like you start writing up a bunch of addendums, or you start, doing whatever, you need them to handhold you. It then creates a bunch of billable hours for your mutual client. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That's the impression I got too. So, right. So Tony's got a good comment. In addition to calling Greg Batman, which he clearly is not, I said cold calling today is interruption marketing, and with a reference to Seth Godin, and that's exactly true. I mean, but the bottom line is, you can't get new people into permission marketing until you interrupt them. The key is, are you interrupting them in a way that allows you to still continue the relationship and get their permission to keep on following up? So like, it's not that there is no conflict between cold calling and something like what Seth Godin talks about necessarily. It's all about how you do it. Interruption marketing, people don't like it, but the bottom line is it still works. And if you can do it in the way that Aaron and Greg do it, where yes, you're interrupting their day, but then you're very quickly getting them over that sense of being interrupted and into a sense of being in a relationship with you, and you get their permission to keep following up, then that solves the problem. So I just wanted to point that out real quick.
Let me ask you guys a quick question here. Now, are you guys familiar with the new app called Clubhouse?
No,
I've heard of it. I've never been on it
before.
Okay. Well, Matt, you're an Android. Aaron, are you an Android or Apple guy?
Apple.
Okay, you and I are going to connect. After. Okay, Matt's going to Apple too. So Clubhouse is a uniquely interesting opportunity here, and it's kind of it's like digital door knocking and digital network marketing. Well, not like the, you know what I mean.
Digital networking, not
digital
networking.
Yeah. Thank you. But you get on there and you can start they call them rooms. You can get on and start any room. And if we can't go door knocking, we can't do cold calls. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on this in regards to getting in? And also, like I said, I'll send both of you guys invites. I have about 7 invites right now left, and come in and just kind of poke around, because I think that there could be something really valuable here when it comes to making relationships with local businesses. And let's get, so I live in a state called Walnut Creek, right? As everybody who's ever listened to this show knows where I live. And you know what? I get all the businesses, go to the Chamber of Commerce, get their contact, get them onto, invite them to, because you can create your private club, right? After you start 3 rooms, then you can make your own club. And you just start a round table, networking, marketing round table. Like, let's pass business back and forth. Let's exchange opportunities. Hey, Steve's Diner and, Stacy's nail salon. Again, I'm not being sexist or racist or anything else. I'm just making up shit as I go. But go in there and get these people to throw back different, referrals to each other and really create a community locally. And you never have to be in front of anybody because people don't want to see you. I mean, especially here in California, fuck, man, they're wearing 2 masks when they go running. Fucking retards. And, what are your guys' thoughts on that, Aaron? I mean, how would you go? And if you guys can't see this, Matt's rubbing his eyes just in complete disbelief right now.
He always does that to us because he's being rude again.
He is.
That was hilarious. I mean, I believe I haven't seen it yet, but I'm waiting for the day when I see somebody double masking while they're running outside. I can't wait.
It's a special level of stupid.
At that point, I'm just going to drive my car into the nearest lake, because I mean, what's the point? What's the point of living? What's the point of living?
Right.
Yeah. So I have plenty. I'll keep my opinions about Clubhouse to myself. We've talked about that before. But Aaron, what do you think?
My thought is, as a marketer, somebody who, I don't. Anytime I can get out and touch somebody through,
Whoa.
I know.
Whoa, okay.
I got it as I said it. Okay. But anytime I can get in front of a client, right? Why would I not? That's at least email lists, geofencing, running ads on Facebook, farming, cold calling, billboards, radio, my TV ads. Why? It's all meant to just get in front of people. So if Greg came to me and said, look, I got a low cost, high ROI way to get you in front of this many more people, why would I not do it? Mm-hmm. Especially social media marketing is free, right? Yeah, for the most part, like you post on your company, Facebook page, it doesn't cost you anything to do that, right?
Right.
Why wouldn't you do it? So, that's at least my thought. It's like, why, when you have an opportunity to get out there, get your brand in front of people, show them what you do, why wouldn't you take the opportunity?
I 1,000% agree, and it costs you 0 money. And Matt, I know you're reading Veronica's comment here, which I'm laughing my ass off about. Aaron, have you done any YouTube ads? Because if you get 3 seconds of free advertisement in front of the different videos, 0 cost basis to you. You only pay if they click or they watch the entire ad. So you want to run like a 3-minute ad, right? They're like, just talk forever. They're going to click through it. And you get free branding on everything. Have you guys tried that at all? Because luxury market people like we're talking about right now, everybody's on YouTube watching long form content, but if you can persistently be in front of them, would that be, what are your thoughts on that?
I would absolutely do it. Okay. I've never looked into it. I've never had an expert that's approached me with it. If anybody out there is listening and they do YouTube ads, call me, because now Greg's got me interested.
I'll talk. We'll talk off air about it, but yeah, it's insanely effective. It's way less than Facebook ads. It's free. It's 100% free. If they click after the 3 seconds, you still get your brand. So get in front of them, pop them and hit them. Run like a 3+ minute ad talking about just random shit, whatever you're going to talk about, but just drag it out. So they're like, oh gosh, damn it, skip.
Right.
But then you're in front of them. There's a guy named Alric, just a crazy little dude. I don't know where he's based out of. This fucktard is in front of me on every video I watch. He's even in my damn Pinterest feed. Okay. And his whole thing is like running YouTube ads. And I'm like,
he sell?
Yeah, he has a whole brokerage for it. But I mean,
for YouTube ads.
For YouTube ads.
Gotcha. So he's selling what he's so he's putting in front of you what he sells.
But he drives me banana cakes because I'm so annoyed with him. But guess what? I'm talking about him and I know him.
And apparently not quite annoyed enough to do what I did, which is just sign up for YouTube Premium where you don't see the ads.
You should just go get one of Matt's little sweater vests and go find this guy and tie it around his neck and choke him with it for how much he's irritating you.
Well, actually, I think he actually wears his own sweater vest. Seriously.
Does he?
Oh, there you
go. Yeah. So
more like a gift to him. Yeah. Like, oh, great. It's an even better sweater vest than I have currently. This is great.
But here's what I'm saying. You know, Aaron, with all the high end marketing you're doing, the stuff that I'm doing, and everything, and the people that Matt works with, what we're talking about here is just being creative and getting in front of these high net worth individuals on a persistent, consistent basis. And you don't have to do the $1 per postcard that you send out that has a 0.3 second shelf life. You can get in front of all these other individuals with these different systems at a lower cost. And guess what? If today's not the day they're going to buy or sell, they're going to get to know you. They're going to feel like they have an intimate relationship with you on a business sense. Nothing weird, you weirdos. And they're going to call you and be like, oh my God, I've been watching you for years. Please come over and list my house, or I want to buy another property or whatever else. But I mean, that's something that's legitimate, right, Aaron?
Right. Absolutely. I mean,
to validate whatever you say. Here's the difference. This is why Aaron drives a Rolls Royce, because Aaron put work into doing stuff that doesn't need Aaron right now. Aaron is hanging out with us on the show today because other people are making his cold calls. Now he has
good point.
You know what I'm saying? You've got billboards, you've got all this stuff running. Yeah, so you put your energy and focus into building things that are scalable and leverageable. Neither of which applies to Clubhouse, by the way. So it's not that it doesn't work; it's that it has no leverage, and you can't be like Aaron doing things that have no leverage.
That is not accurate.
My mic right there. That's all.
I disagree. You ready for this, Greg? Let's team up on him because I disagree. So I have. I mean, how many? I think I have like 25,000 people that follow me on Instagram, right? For example. Okay. You know how much work I put into that?
0.
I have an assistant that runs my Instagram. And they freaking do an awesome job. They freaking snap photos of me when I'm not looking. They do all kinds of crazy shit. But you know what? It works. And they get and I market to these people. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing, Maddie. If you want to talk about leverage and get,
that is having somebody up in my space and taking a picture of me when I am not looking sounds like the worst way for.
Are you kidding me?
If they told you could drive a Rolls Royce for having people harass you a little bit, you tell me you wouldn't do it?
Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Matt's full of shit. He has photographers taking photos of him for his marketing campaign. So there are people that follow him around with the shit.
They're just getting his hair extra spiky and getting all excited, putting on his new sweater vest, just all jazzed up.
Oh, the short sleeve one? God. Yeah. The summer one.
See how he rolled his eyes at us? He's just real aggressive today.
He's annoyed as shit. But here, Aaron, I'm going to double and getting back to seriousness. Matt is laughing.
Let's rank your number of lead generators, Aaron, to your team. Let's find out where Instagram sits.
Wait,
17,
hold on, 18. Hold on.
Hey, dude,
let me just circle back, you two chuckle nuts. When it comes to leveraging Clubhouse, like Aaron just mentioned with his Instagram, why can't you have a team member run it for him? Why don't your right-hand man or gal run, run a Clubhouse on your behalf, and you pop in, once a week for a special appearance, but then you guys do, questions of the week, questions of the day, how to list and manage, high-end, luxury properties with celebrities and really talk about war stories. I did a Clubhouse the other day about the scariest stories when showing properties, and people lit up. It was a dumb conversation I was having with somebody. I'm like, let's just do a Clubhouse real quick. And people went banana cakes. And you can leverage this. You can designate this.
Yes, because it's sales. Of course you can leverage it. It's called sales.
We just said we couldn't.
Oh man, there's no leverage to it because you can't hire it out to be done by somebody else at some point. There's no leverage to it because it's not something you can continue doing when you're not around. YouTube ads, might be amazing. You know, you film that video once, and then somebody else, an expert, can put that video in front of people while you're off in Cancun for all they know. Like that. That's when I'm talking about leverage, I'm talking about something like that. Like Aaron developed a skill set on the phone that is a one-to-one skill set of talking on the phone. But Aaron, you also built another skill set of running a call center.
Right.
That's why you make the money.
Right.
And those are not the same skill set. The skill set of you being able to hop on the phone and convince one individual person to meet with you and list their home with you is like the foundation of everything that you do. But if you never built that into the skill set of managing a call center, you're not expanding all across the country because you, Aaron, can pick up the phone and talk to a seller one-on-one. You're expanding across the country because you built a skill set that's leverageable, which is running an entire call center managed by a person based on what you used to do. Yeah. But it's that, like, that's true leverage. So, I mean, to me, it just depends on your goals. If your goal is to be a really kick-ass one-on-one individual agent, then absolutely keep building that skill set, keep building individual relationships in your city. If you want to get to where Aaron is at, there has to come a time when it's not about your individual skill set anymore. It's about leverage, and it's about getting other people involved. That's all.
Aaron, you know, that
depends on your goals.
You know, there's distinguishing difference between us and Matt.
What's that?
We like people, and we want to talk to them.
He's very irritated with us today. We're the nicest guys he knows, and he's just so irritated. And so
I know all of my clients and friends are nice. That's why they're client and friends. They're all nice.
If you were a cat, your tail would be twitching.
Right.
So bad right now.
And you know, he just lied to us because nobody likes all their clients. I don't like all my clients.
Yeah, but I don't take on clients I don't like. I mean, every once in a while, you guys will have a hissy fit or something about something, but that's, you know what I'm saying? I don't take on clients I don't like.
Matt, this is you.
Nice. There it is.
The cat. Yeah, that's right.
Look how annoyed he looks.
That's a face little Maddie gave us today when we first jumped on this thing. That's how he looked.
Guys, so the guys are listening right now. I have a picture of my now, sadly, but he has passed away, my cat Bandito. My mom last Christmas decided it would be a fantastic idea to get him a box of like rubber lizards. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, oh, I heard everybody likes them. And I piled them all on top of him. He's on my couch and he looks miserable. And that's Matt with me and Aaron picking on him.
We're not even picking on it.
Never,
We're just making observations.
Never. I enjoy it.
All right. Want to wrap this thing up?
Yeah. So first of all, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, subscribe to Expand, Dominate, and Profit. Aaron, when are you going to start doing workshops? When are you going to start bringing people in, teaching what you know?
You know, we have been getting a lot of inquiries, a lot of people asking us that question. We're trying to gear up to, especially people who are looking at that inside sales model and that want to be able to effectively, you know, whether you're starting off with 1 or 2 or trying to get to 10 or 15 or 30 like we have, you know, we're trying to lay out the blueprint for it. And we're thinking in the next 60 days, we should have something ready to be launched, at least to get somebody, you know, at least to be able to do that first workshop.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's going to be awesome because and that's the key is, like I said, people can have the individual one-on-one skill set, but running a call center, hiring an ISA, managing an ISA, that is a whole other thing.
It's a completely different business.
It's a completely different animal. Yeah.
Right.
So it's very, very different from running a real estate team. You know, I've worked in call center environments before. It's a different breed of person, especially if you want to keep them for longer than a month. You know, those people that hang out and just they're a lead generating machine. You got to keep them happy. you got to find them, and then you got to keep them happy. And that's both, there's an art and a science to all of that stuff. So anyway, yeah, so I'm excited for the workshops to come out. In the meantime, people go subscribe to your podcast where you're talking about that stuff. And you're talking to other people that are doing similar things, talking about how to expand, dominate, profit, all that fun stuff. So Greg, where should people talk to you about EXP?
Batman. That's where. You guys just reach out to me. I want to talk to you about how I can grow your business. If you want to join EXP, great. If you don't, that's totally cool as well. But I am using this company called Clever Leads, and we get a 40 to 70% response rate on lead generation. but I'm here to help and serve and guide in any way, shape, or form, and connect to anybody that is that does want to grow their business. I'm actually traveling to Tahoe. We're going to be talking about our trucking side of the industry, where we're going to put about 1,000 rigs, 40-foot rigs in the company, in the country. If you, in the whole gig is that when it comes to moving, they have a 70% markup on all moving costs. And so we're partnering with some independents that we can do it at cost. So it's not going to cost your clients anything. It would be basically a referral fee. And it's just incredible how the thing is exploding. So if you guys want to learn more about that, just hit me up. Go find me anywhere, Greg McDaniel. Instagram, Greg McDaniel, REU for Real Estate Uncensored. And then Facebook, just Greg McDaniel. Send me a DM on any of those guys. Love to talk with you. And I will personally give you Matt Johnson's home phone number. And he will give you sweater vest advice.
Personally give out my number. Great. That's fantastic. No, Greg is totally that person that sleeps next to his cell phone with the ringer on at 2 a.m. So I encourage everyone to reach out to Greg.
I literally do. I literally do. Aaron, you're a legend, my friend. When people are going to reach out to you, what's something they can expect to, besides letting Matt come over and clean their car with rocks? Right. What could they expect when they reach out to you?
Man, I mean, I'm open to anything. So need advice, you need tips, you want to sign up for our workshops, you want, anything, I'm open. So I always try to respond to everybody and get back to people as soon as possible. So, let me know, shoot me a message, give me a call, send me an email, whatever works for you.
Carrier pigeons work as well. Smoke signals work best for me. SOL, sign language.
Right. Greg lives in the dry part of California. Don't send him smoke signals. That's bad for everyone involved.
Yeah, no, my state's burned. But one more time, because I'm trying to type it in here. What's the name of the podcast? One more time, just so people can get it.
Expand, Dominate, and Profit.
I have it right here. I'm part of the Cool Kid Club now.
Finally,
right.
Not time.
I like it.
All right. Let's shut it down.
Okay, Matt, do your mother effing job and give me a color on the boat.
Well, in honor of Aaron and his podcast, I got to go with the particular shade of burgundy that Aaron, you're wearing in that suit from that photo shoot that we used for your podcast.
You know what? Don't hate the player, hate the tailor. Okay,
Tailor.
You like the customs.
It's a sharp suit.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, I'm a sucker for any suit that you can wear over a black dress shirt. So I'm all in.
Right.
Now I can never pull that off.
Sweater.
You realize that nobody with my skin complexion can pull off a burgundy suit.
Oh my God!
For us, it would make me look like a whole red person from head to toe. But that's the color of the bow that we're tying upon this particular episode. Go ahead, Greg.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for putting up with us again. We're going to bring Aaron back on the show in a couple of months to have some more fun. He and I are going to team up and bitch slap Matt all the way across Kansas and just have a good time with his, sweater vests and everything else. But guys, we can't do this show without you. Thank you so much. Go anywhere where you guys listen to podcasts. Give us a 5-star, not a 2-star. However, you put the algorithm in front of more folks. If you like anything you heard today, which you better fucking have, I want you to go give us a review, tag Aaron in it, tag Matt, or tag myself, and then share with your friends and family. But we have a burgundy bow. Ooh, that rhymes. We have a burgundy bow on the show. Ooh, I should be a rapper. And thank you guys for your time. Love you to pieces. Until next time, peace out, ninjas. We gone.